I got a question regarding patient data. Since data is essential for companies, shouldn't patients have the right to actually sell and profit to their own data rather than, yeah.
Not quite sure how to answer that.
Sorry, that's exprompt.
The profit to like our commercial profit, or say if there is a joint venture in the future between our company and a pharma company, and we identify a biomarker that kind of leads to drug development. Is that what you're saying?
I assume smaller biotechs do buy the data from some other companies that provide the service, but the patient doesn't see any of this profit from their own health data.
So as a strictly commercial question, we provide a service to the patient, and that's what they pay for, and they get that service. Hopefully they're happy. Some patients are not happy to relinquish their DNA data, and that's absolutely fine. So we only use their data under consent. But that is probably an area, I would say, that's very underregulated. I don't think profit has ever come into it. It's usage rather than profit. You could take that argument further and say, is DNA something that if a company holds it, and lots of companies do, not just genomics companies, is that a commodity? And should the patient benefit from it? I don't have the answer to that.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Any more takers?
That's a good question.
I was just going to say, we don't let patients sell their organs for a reason. I don't know if we would consider your gene data as something as valuable as a kidney. And how do we regulate that? I think, again, it needs more oversight.
Data is the new oil, right? That's why all this data is connected. Like Google knows you're here now.
And I feel like there are plenty of people that pay to give up their genomic data, right? With 23andMe and Ancestry. And what kind of wealth of data that these companies have that is locked away from research institutions and small biotechs, that like people have paid £123 to do it, and they're not getting any profit from that. So I don't know, I think it's a big ethical question.
But
No, you have one.
no, it's a separate point.
Yeah, again, taking that argument a bit further, it's, biopsies have been taken from patients, for as long as kind of the NHS has existed. And if we use data as kind of currency, that would open the can of worms for biopsies and other things that potentially belong to patients. Wow, yeah. Interesting.
So
Scary.
in terms of the sort of data side, if I make a model, like a machine learning model, classifier or something, that depends on all the data I feed it. If I build a model and then suddenly I need to remove that sample because there's an issue, you have to regenerate the whole thing, and that it goes through the sort of whole part of the research process in terms of papers. You remove one sample out of 100 and suddenly your differential expression will change, and therefore all your numbers will change because all your p-values change because of the false discovery rate, and all this kind of could change everything. And so if you can go, well, actually I did share my data, but no, I don't want to, then that causes big problems for that as well. But you can retract data from repositories. There are certainly some ways of doing that. But yeah, it's a issue for the data side as well.
I just wanted to add as well, I think it was Sir Patrick Ballant at the Festival of Genomics talked about the report just released by the government on this issue, and also thinking about whether, for example, insurance companies would then be able to use this genetic data to define your premiums, for example, or whether certain predispositions to neurological disorders could affect the way the law sees and interacts with you. So it's certainly questions that are being thought about by policymakers, and the very big questions. And yeah, there's clearly no easy answer.